Let me ask you a question. Are you looking for a third-person arena shooter where all you do is run around a tiny room shooting at zombies? Are you okay if that room never changes and the bad guys are always the same? If you answered yes to these two questions, then Blood Waves is definitely the game for you. However, if you're anything like me and want more than a bare-bones arena shooter, then you're better off just throwing a dart at one of the thousands of other zombie games on the market. I'm not gonna lie, when I heard the name Blood Waves, I immediately pictured an ultra-violent surfing game. Sadly, this is just another boring third-person shooter where the player is locked in a tiny room and forced to fight against hordes of flesh-loving zombies. In this case, you take the role of a Lara Croft clone who is given no story or personality. Her entire existence is to run around and shoot underpowered guns at wave after wave of boring enemies. Even if you've never played a wave-based arena shooter before, you already know the formula. You kill a set number of zombies, pick up the money they leave behind, and then use that money to buy new weapons, ammo, and defenses. Then it's back to that round room, shoot at more zombies, followed by more spending, more shooting, more spending, more shooting, and so on and so forth until you either die or get bored and quit. This monotonous structure could have been helped by a nice variety of creative weapons, but don't get your hopes up. Blood Waves starts you out with a machete and pistol, neither of which are very effective after wave 2 or 3. The idea is to save up and buy the shotgun, assault rifle, rocket launcher, and even the minigun. It's all stuff you've seen before, and this game doesn't even attempt to give it a slightly different spin. Now, I'd be okay with the boring weapon selection if at least they were fun to shoot, but the third-person action is a real chore. This cardboard Lara Croft is slow and her aim is fidgety. The gameplay is imprecise with the console gamepads, and the weapons feel underpowered. Even when you spend your skill points to upgrade the different guns, it never seems like it makes a big impact on the action. The zombies are all bullet sponges, and blowing them up is neither satisfying nor especially bloody. On top of upgrading the weapons, you're also able to buy perks for your hero. This involves giving her more life, more stamina, better resistance to acid, faster health recharge, more effective rolls, an extra shield, and a whole bunch more. Much like everything else in this game, none of this is especially original, but it does force you to choose how you want to spec out your character. It's also worth mentioning that you can purchase walls, traps, and turrets that'll draw the attention of the zombies and give you some added fire. This is a big help, but you have to keep track of them or else they'll quickly be destroyed. Sort of like the guns in this game, I came away wishing the defensive barricades were a little more effective. Although Blood Waves is a little too limited in scope for my tastes, I can see the appeal of this type of arena shooter. There's something cathartic about shooting wave after wave of enemies without worrying about walking around a linear level. My contention is that this game doesn't do the style of wave-based combat particularly well. The levels are a real slog to get through since they always play out the exact same way. Everything takes too long to get going, and when it finally does start to get interesting, you'll likely die because an explosive zombie sneaks up behind you, or because you get backed up against a wall in the cheapest way possible. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I never wanted to go back and try it again after I died. In fact, I had to force myself to stay interested, and that felt like a full-time job. I think part of the problem is that we're stuck in a single location. And it's not that that specific arena looks bad, but rather that it's not interesting enough to stand out. Cycling through a handful of different arenas would have made a huge difference, as would randomizing other aspects of the game. But instead what we get is a predictable third-person shooter where the arena, enemies, and weapons are always the same. The real enemy in this game isn't the brain-eating zombies, but rather the crushing boredom. Not enough blood, and too many waves. This debut console release from Light Road Games is light on content and surprises. Blood Waves is a by-the-books third-person arena shooter featuring zombies and predictable weapons. Not only have we seen these ideas many times before, but they've been done better in countless other games. If you still haven't gotten your fill of zombies and arena shooters, then this is the game for you. Everybody else should probably just spend their money on a more satisfying shooter. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What's your favorite zombie game? There are literally hundreds of zombie games out there, so you gotta have an answer. I mean, even if you hate zombies, chances are they've slowly staggered into games you love. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a bunch of reviews, including Velocity G, Tech Support, Streets of Red, Claybook, Forgiveness, and more. Seriously, I can't even see over the stack of games I'm reviewing right now, so I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.